Hello, everybody. So we have the wonderful Liz and Aaron. We're going to be doing a part 2 of the live that we did on Monday, where Aaron was asking these really wonderful questions about the Soul Empowering Hypnosis SEH certification training program. And he is asking really practical, logistical questions, but then also very, very big picture questions like, what happens to SEH when I die, which I have wondered about and thought about. So I love that somebody said it out loud. Yes, we're all immortal, but yes, we all die. So it's a very interesting topic. And for those of you who were here on Monday, you know that I said maybe 1,000 words per minute for 85% of the live. So I love that our first question today, Aaron's got a really, really great question for Liz. And that's where we're going to start. So you can actually hear from Liz because she's beautiful and smart and has a lot of great things to say. So tag Liz, you're it. Aaron, what is your question for Liz?
So, Liz, you've been involved with working with Courtney for quite some time now, and I
Yep.
just want to get your opinion and viewpoint on how Courtney and the program has metamorphosed over the time that you've been involved in it, and even from what you may have seen before you got involved.
I love that question. I did get involved with SEH in 2022. I've been working with Courtney since then. Prior to that, though, there were whispers of SEH that I knew of because I knew some of her prior students. And I was definitely intrigued when, again, the soul empowering, I'm like, souls, what? Like, I can actually do something that has to do with that, because I didn't really find out about reincarnation or souls or anything like that probably until 2020. So I was very mainstream in a lot of the beliefs that I had been taught. And so uh the evolution of SEH has been an amazing thing to watch. It's went from this it's always been, the curriculum has always been, from the day that I started, really well written and put together. And Courtney's always been a really good teacher. That's one of her really good strong suits. And then she sucks you in with their personality. So that's really helpful too. Very genuine, kind. I could say lots of wonderful things. But when it came to SCH and starting, I had gotten to know Courtney in a previous certification and knew about her through that certification. And she was my teacher at that time, I think. And that's how I got to know her. At that time, I don't remember how large the cohort was, but
For MHT,
yeah, I think there
about
was,
15, like
yeah,
12 to 15. It's kind of big.
yeah, and some of them ended up were Courtney's students as well as SEH, or some of them were in her group hypnosis at the time and had some. So that's how I was introduced to her at the time. And I went to her website because I always, like to do research, and I really like some of the things that were on there. It was really well done. It was very applicable to what I was into and interested in. And I liked that I'm not as meticulous like this, but Courtney did not have very minimal typos, and that was kind of yeah, it was nice to see, and the website was done really well, and it drew me in, and I started to read about it and read the testimonials. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. And then when one of her students asked me to do a session, I was sucked in at that point. And so in that time, I've seen the the students completely change, the teachers completely change. Not in a It was just time for those people to move on and for fresh blood to come in. They weren't it wasn't for them. it just wasn't for them. And
You're so diplomatic.
we, we were, I think once Courtney and I started like working together, um, this a lot of them were non-committal. And the students now are very committal and very professional and
Mhm.
very committed to becoming the best at whatever they're doing, whether they're a private. And when I also met Courtney, she was coming off being a one-on-one hypnotherapist, her full-time business. And so switching, transitioning, as well as teaching from that into what SEH has evolved to now, um, is leaps and bounds. Her cinematography skills, her like all that stuff has gotten so much better, and I didn't think that it could, but it definitely leveled up. The communication from day one was always there. Anytime I asked a question, it was like I got the answer within 24 hours, but usually within like a few hours. Um, and I just felt really, really supported when I'm doing these courses that I was like, I don't know. And then when I got to do them with the other students, I was like, wow, you guys are really awesome. And I got to be around when Courtney started adding in advanced performance hypnosis and a lot of scripts with that. I was actually in the class where she created those scripts. And so that was really cool to be a part of and actually be some of the first people to utilize those scripts. Timeline.
Oh, you should tell the metabolism story too. That's really interesting about APH. I love that story. I don't want to hijack it. I'll put a
I know.
bookmark, so
Yeah,
I'll remind you.
I was like
Yeah.
bookmark because I'm like, yeah, that one was really good. And then and now it's fresh blood. Everyone's like ready to go, ready to be like hypnotherapists. And the nice part is because Courtney did up level her game on the business end, she knows how to like build websites on her own and do all the editing um and it's her doing these things now as opposed to like there was some team members before and she wanted to have full autonomy. And, I got to be a part of that, like kicking and screaming, I don't want to do this. As much as I, in certain areas of my business, were like, I don't want to do this. So I
Which
can,
parts did you not want to do?
I used to be before hypnosis and SCH terrified to get in front of a camera, to speak one on one to people, to meet new people in certain arenas, but with hypnosis and then watching other students do this, I was just like, wow, like if they can do it, I can do it
Now
too.
you're live. Look at
And now
you.
I'm like, I still am not like, I do it because and it's fine. It's always fun. That's the part. If it's fun, I'm going to probably want to do it. And trying to make everything within the business kind of like it's work, but God, there has to be some sort of fun payoff in the end, or like I don't I wouldn't want to do this, meeting new clients, getting to work with the students, seeing Courtney and her group hypnosis vibe on the second Sunday of the month is super duper fun. Those people are just like a hoot. They make me laugh every time. They're so sweet. And they always have such good input, insight, and questions that I'm like, oh, I never thought about that. So, and I mean, as far as like her emails, I actually normally I don't necessarily open people's emails, like the long form email funnel type stuff. Sometimes I do, but hers, I'm like, okay, this like interests me. It fascinates me, not just the subject, but the way that it's presented. So the evolution from where it was really good then when I started, and now it's like we're ready to fucking bring this to the to the masses. Like that's just where it's at for me.
I
Is it
love
okay if
it.
I chime in really quickly?
I was going to ask if you want to confirm or deny any of that.
I confirm all the good things. Only the good things. Oh, and then also I feel really bad. I don't know why, but I don't know if I looked distracted in the first minute, but I was trying to pull Instagram in, and maybe I'll try to hit go live again, but I can't get them in. I don't know what's happening. So I don't think this one's going to go into Instagram, unfortunately. But it's okay. YouTube. Thanks. We always have YouTube. Okay, so what I would love to address, which I think Liz put very, very diplomatically, is that we used to have a different type of student. And what I did in the very beginning, like very, very beginning, when I was still getting my confidence, still getting my bearings, still getting like, a grasp of like, what is this SEH certification training anyway, plus all of my self-esteem and self-confidence was going up and up and up throughout these last few years. The very first SEH class cost $81. Now to sign up, it costs almost $8,000. And the value has gone up so much, but so has my commitment to wanting to work with people who are very serious about this. And you can see that whenever the prices change, it's a different personality type that becomes interested in it, where it's not just this casual thing that they're kind of interested in doing on occasion. It becomes somebody who's really serious about doing this work in the world, and they really, really want to help people. And also, even if somebody does have that good heart, sometimes they're still a little non-committal and they're a little wishy-washy in their decision making. And so it's been really helpful to get those who are they've already made the decision. They're in, they're ready to go. They want to learn how to do this instead of going back and forth. Like, do I want to sign up for this or not? Do I want to sign up for this or not? It's like, no, just like talk to me when you're ready to sign up for this. So it's been really, really wonderful working with people who are more serious. And then along the way, over the years, I've become so much more serious, so much more professional, so much more independent. Liz used the word autonomy. One thing that's been interesting over the years is that SEH has gotten so much better as far as quality, and also so much better in terms of robustness of what we're teaching and what we're offering. And I have shaved down who is in the inner circle. So Liz is the only instructor now. We had a larger instructor group, but we've got to eventually narrow it down to the people who are really serious, the ones that you really trust, the ones that are always pleasant. She's the face of SEH, right? Thank God she's friendly all the time. It matters, right? Like, it's really, really important, like who we are and what we bring to this. And then also, I haven't really said this publicly. I still love and adore her, but I had to let go of my assistant. That just happened only maybe like 3 months, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. We worked together for like 4 years, but she just wasn't showing up the way that she used to. And we still have a good relationship. Like, she still likes my posts on Instagram. And so it's really, there's no bad blood. It's just, like, girl, you're going to show up. And like, she just, didn't. And we need people who are committed and ready to show up and ready to do the work, and to do it with a genuine, sincere smile on their face. And so Liz is such a perfect example of that. Like, she is always on time. She is always going to do what she says. And she's always friendly and sweet and enjoyable like while she's doing it. So we've really narrowed it down to where it's just like super, super, super high quality. And the amount of people that you're dealing with, it's very, very small. Like, that's why the students get so much FaceTime with me and Liz, because we're serious, we show up, and we've narrowed it down to just like, we don't have a huge cohort, because there's not a huge number of people that are really, really serious about this work to the tune of $8,000, right? So it's good. It's quality over quantity. We have room to grow, though. Like, I wouldn't mind more quantity. Like, we can handle it. So I'm looking forward to that phase. But yeah, it's been an interesting transition. And then one thing that I've mentioned before, and I really mean this, it's not an exaggeration when I say that I've spent $60,000 on hypnosis certification trainings, and I've spent $85,000. And this is at a minimum. This is like 60,000 and some. This is 85,000 and some. 85,000 on marketing courses and consultants. And I can take all of that knowledge and pay it forward to the students. And I don't mean anything like copying, like I would never need to plagiarize anything. It's really just taking the best and synthesizing all of it and then creating something new out of the best pieces of everything, plus the best of what the universe is bringing into the sessions. And so we're able to help people streamline their marketing, streamline their hypnosis services, but then also, Aaron, you and I were actually talking about this a couple weeks ago, where a lot of people think that they need an assistant. They think that they need an editor. They think that they need, all of these people who are experts in their field. And this is another way that I'm able to save people so much money. I can give them the I don't know how to say this, but basically the outline of like how that's going to go. If you guys are out there and you think that you need an editor, or you think that you need an assistant, or you think that you need X, Y, and Z, the way that it's going to go 9.9 times out of 10 is that you're going to hire someone, you're going to spend a lot of money, you're going to waste a lot of time, and then all that time and money, the only thing that you really got out of it, which is extraordinarily valuable, but I could have just told you before you spend all that time and money, what you're going to get out of that experience 9.9 times out of 10 is you're going to learn nobody cares about your business the way you do. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to be able to treat your business as well. They're never going to do marketing content the way that you would. They're never going to be able to write for you. They're never going to be able to edit for you. They're never going to be able to communicate with your clients for you. They're never, ever, ever going to be able to do those things the way that you and only you can. And I think that what happens for people in the beginning is it sounds so intimidating, where they're like, I don't know how to do this, but I don't know how to do this, but I don't know how to. You know what? You're going to learn how to do it, because all the people that you're going to hire, that you're going to spend a bunch of time and a bunch of money on, they're not going to come through for you. And you're going to have to learn how to do it anyway. And the only cool thing about that is that when you finally learn how to do it yourself, you won't feel overwhelmed. You will feel liberated. You will feel, oh my God, thank God I have fired this person. I am now just doing this on my own. I don't have to like drag them along. I can just run. I can feel the wind in my hair. That's the only thing that you'll lose if you just go straight into like, okay, I need to know how to do this myself. But it is such a slog working with other people that it is that liberating feeling when you finally fire all of them. And oh, look, I did all of this. Like, I can do it better myself. And what's also really cool is that over the years, technology has progressed so much. AI, software platforms, et cetera, that it is so user-friendly right now to build a website. It is so user-friendly right now to edit. It's called low code or no code. Like, really, you have the Canva, like these things. Like when I started, when I walked to school in the snow with no shoes, yeah, like I was using Photoshop. You want to compare Photoshop to Canva? Oh my God, Canva is so easy. So this is the perfect time for people to come on and be really, really independent. And what's great about Liz and I is that we have the ability in these one-on-one meetings with our students where we can walk them through and say, this is the website builder that you can use. So you don't have to go out and do your own research. We can just show you and say, this is a great website builder. This is Canva. This is how you do it. You want to do a screen share, and we can do a tutorial. So we can actually walk the students through how to do all of these things. So we're really there for them, because I wish, and I'm sure Liz wishes, that somebody had created something like this for us years ago, so we could have just learned from them instead of having to go through all of the hard work and lessons learned of how to do this ultimately on your own. So again, it's not overwhelming. Just trust me, guys, it's not overwhelming to do this on your own. It is liberating, and it's not even that hard. You think it's hard. It's not that hard. And that's why it's exciting for Liz and I, just like, go on a Zoom meeting, screen share, show you how to do it, walk you through it. Like, we really take all the mystery out of it. And so you have a supportive teammate that is teaching you how to fish instead of charging you like a ridiculous amount of money to like give you like old, soggy, like rancid fish, and then, charging you extra to fix it. Yeah. Anyway, Aaron, what do you guys say about that?
I think it's all amazing and wonderful.
Good good answer. Well, okay. Should I go back to the bookmark of the APH and Liz being there when we developed that and the metabolism story?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So a little bit more than a year ago, I ran APH. It's a specialty certification. It comes free with the SEH certification training. So I'm never going to, I shouldn't say never. I shouldn't say never, but right now I'm never going to charge anybody for a specialty certification. I just want all of the hypnotherapists that go through SEH to be the best hypnotherapists that they can possibly be. And so, Aaron, one of your questions was, what's the difference between SEH and APH? So Soul Empowering Hypnosis versus Advanced Performance Hypnosis. They work very beautifully together. They complement each other. You could have an amazing APH session and never need to know SEH. You could have an amazing SEH session and never need to know APH. However, if you know both, you really have the skill set to be able to help anyone in any way. And what I mean by that is SEH, Soul Empowering Hypnosis, very spiritually oriented. Guess what? Not everybody out there who really would benefit from a hypnosis session is spiritually oriented. And it's not necessarily that they're anti-spirituality. It's just that it's not the thing that's on the front of their mind. They really want hypnosis because they really want to get things done. They want to be productive. They want to improve things. And they're not necessarily coming from a spiritual mindset as to how they want to get that done. Now, APH, Advanced Performance Hypnosis. This is the take action piece. And a great story to illustrate what I mean as far as SEH versus APH. SEH, let's say that you need to start a business, right? You're starting your hypnotherapy business. In SEH, what you're most likely going to get is you're going to get a pep talk from your spirit guide. You're going to get some beautiful energy. You're going to be given a warm hug by an angel. Like you're going to get all of the emotional, spiritual, like pep talk, like good feelings. That's what you're going to get from SEH. From APH, you're going to get information. You're going to get directives. You're going to get deadlines. You're going to get a smack in the rear end to go like, we told you to do that. You need to do it now. And so that's the get off the couch and take action piece where SEH is like, let me give you a warm hug so you can feel better. And then APH is like, now get your ass in gear and go. Right. And it's great. Like it's so good. And it gives you the APH gives you the terminology to be able to work with more secularly minded clients. And here's why. And some people might go, well, why can't I just get an APH certification if I can just work with the secularly minded clients? It's because inevitably spiritual things are going to come into the APH sessions. It is going to happen. And so if you have SEH as the foundation, then you are so good to go when you're working with your APH clients because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. An angel's going to show up. An amorphous color is going to show up. A spirit guide, spirit animal, somebody is going to show up. And if you have the background that SEH gives you, then you're able to handle it beautifully every single time. And because APH teaches you the secular thesaurus, you're able to use the terminology that's palatable for these more secularly minded clients where you're not saying like, oh, it's an angel. It's like, oh, wonderful. So we have like a friend here that can help you. Let's just ask for their guidance. Maybe this friend is like a part of your mind that knows like the higher wisdom you know what I mean? Like you can phrase it however you want. And then that way you can work with way more clients. And then one thing that's great is when I was developing the APH scripts for the certification training, Liz got to practice those. And Liz, this is your story, but I believe that you were focusing on increasing your mental, like energy, clarity, focus, all of that, right? And so, Liz, go ahead and tell everybody what happened, which I think is really interesting.
I don't remember. I'm like, what one? There have been so many good.
Okay, I got it. I got you. Okay. Well, that's the other thing, guys. Whenever you experience hypnosis, it can be so powerful that you're almost a little bit out of it for a while. And I wasn't out of it, so I remember this very well. So, Liz, this is the one where you were having a hypnosis session to focus on more mental energy, clarity, etc. And then during the session, your body started to get really hot. Remember when you got really hot and then you were hot for the remainder of class? And then
Mhm.
you were hot like throughout the rest of the day. And I think you were even hot when you came back to class. So your
Mhm.
temperature was running high. And then she also started to lose a bunch of weight. And so we realized that what was happening is in her APH session, not only was it turning up, like dialing up the mental energy and clarity and awareness, it was also affecting her metabolism and creating like an increase in her metabolism, like as
Yeah.
a bonus, an unexpected bonus that happened simultaneously.
Yeah. It
Not
was good.
bad. Get
It was
smarter, get in better shape? Yes, please.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, Aaron, did that
Uh,
help to answer the question about what is the difference between SEH and APH?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Um, I have a bit meatier question here.
Okay.
Um,
Awesome. And then we'll go to the what happens when I die, and we'll go to the channeling of the Canon, Newton, Weiss souls.
Yeah.
it's well, that's actually what I was going to get to.
Okay. Perfect.
um, well, first, um, and I lost my question. 1 second.
It's okay. Take your time.
So this is SEH is basically your channel creation. What measures are you taking to ensure that when you're no longer on the earth plane, like die, that SEH does not stagnate or devolve the way other formerly well respected spiritual hypnosis programs have?
Mm.
And similarly, what are you doing to ensure that SEH stays superlatively open to progress?
I like it.
Okay. All right. So, I feel like I had something really important to say and then I just lost it. Hopefully it comes back. So when it comes to me dying in SEH, uh, I'm really of two minds about this. I think that on one hand, I can do nothing to prepare. Let's be honest. Like like I could do a million things to prepare and it doesn't matter if I'm dead. Like anything can change. And what am I going to do? Haunt people? So there's that answer, right? Like you can't really safeguard or guarantee anything ever in anything in life. So there's that. Um, then I would say if I've done my job and SEH is so good. It's as good as it is because it is so flexible and it is so go with the flow. It is so never ever afraid of change, like really comfortable and embracing change and evolving. If I've done my job and I've taught people that way of experiencing hypnosis and hopefully that way of experiencing life, then it should naturally continue that way. Um, that being said, I think Aaron, maybe I just mentioned this to you one on one off camera one day. I know I've said it recently. If you look at the beginning of one of Weiss's, no, I'm sorry, not Weiss, Newton's books, and at the beginning of one of Cannon's books, and it might be in more than one, I just know for sure it's in at least one, both of them mention that they fully expect their style of hypnosis to evolve and they want it to. I did say this in the last live. And then
Mhm.
I mentioned that LBL, they have in like the last year or two, they have started to evolve and advance the induction and the
Mhm.
process for LBL. That being said, that was a long time coming, like a really long time coming. So much so that I noticed there are at least three areas that Newton did not get right in his books. And when I say didn't get right, that's very lazy language on my part. It's not that he got it wrong, it's that it's outdated now. And the
Mm.
information that is coming in now, we as humans, we're more evolved, we're more advanced, we're ready for more information that's coming from our guides, our souls, the spirit realm. And so, what's in Newton's books, there are at least three areas that are very outdated and therefore inaccurate now. And I tried to write an article talking about those three areas and submitted it to the Newton Institute and said, like, hey, there are these areas. It's very, very clear that what he wrote is inaccurate now. I used outdated. I wasn't being as diplomatic as I could have been. And the people in charge really pushed back on publishing anything like that. And they said, we know that these things are different now. We know it. We've seen the patterns too. We've been talking about it. However, we can't publish this, Courtney, because if we publish this, then it creates doubt for everything that he wrote. And so, out of fear of rocking the boat and out of fear of people doubting the accuracy of the other portions of the book, they just sat on it and stayed quiet. I think that's really disappointing. I think that's unnecessary. I think that that is a lack of confidence in Newton. It's a lack of confidence in the LBL practitioners. It's a lack of confidence in the style of hypnosis, LBL. It's a lack of confidence in the general public that, people don't need to be so hyper protective of something. If something is good, it's okay. The three of us, we're amazing people. Guess what? We're not perfect. That doesn't take away from all of the amazing things about us. And so LBL, same thing. It's a really good style of hypnosis. It's cool. It gets some great shit done. They could have been more confident in what Newton did. His books are great. I don't think that saying like, hey, there are these 3 areas that obviously updates should be added to the books. Obviously, there are things that we now know that he didn't know. I think that he was a little too, what is it called? I'm sorry, I'm losing the word, but it's something like paternalistic. He was too assertive. He was too directive in the way that he facilitated sessions. I think that if some of his clients started to go in a certain direction, that he would ask them questions in a leading way that would start to put them back into their place where he thought the information should belong. I think that he definitely had a tendency to do that. You can see it in some of his writing. I can say that and still respect the man. I can say that and still be very grateful for all of the work that he did. And I think that it's too bad that people think that you have to either say 100% positive things or 100% bad things. No, I want to say 98% positive things about him and only 2% like this could have been done better, right? And the same thing's going to happen for me. I'm going to die and people are going to go, Courtney did a pretty good job, but she totally missed the mark over here. Yeah, I probably did. Didn't mean to, didn't want to, but probably did. So yeah, there could be a lot more confidence when it comes to these things. Since I'm just being real blunt today, apparently, and just saying like the types of hypnosis instead of like skirting around it a little bit. QHHT, it's unbelievable how much they refuse to change. And they have to know that they need to, because they're doing things like creating supplemental certification after supplemental certification where you can get a companion course, you can do a level 2, you can do a level 3, you can do it. They won't allow their new practitioners to charge for their sessions. They know they're having them take vocal training to try to like do better at facilitating sessions. You can tell there's smoke. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And there are like 50 fires around this thing where you can tell that they know that their practitioners are not getting it done. Well, maybe it's because the script isn't getting it done anymore. Maybe we're not all Dolores Cannon, right? Maybe Dolores was fucking amazing and got some incredible stuff done with that script. That doesn't mean that we can all get that same stuff done with that same script. And they keep going like banging that drum. You got to do it word for word, word for word. Maybe Dolores was the magic. Maybe it wasn't the script that was the magic, right? And so take that script and let it be the foundation of what we can all turn into magic, which is why SEH is so good, because you have that foundational script that will work the vast majority of the time, but then you also learn how to deviate from it, no problem. And it gets to the point where, remember in the last live, I was saying that like every practitioner is terrified of the nothing moment where the client says they're experiencing nothing. That's true until you become an SEH practitioner. When you become an SEH practitioner and the client says that they're experiencing nothing, it's very like, buckle up, like it's about to get interesting. Like that is almost like the permission that you need to go like, shit's about to get real cool. And it launches from this place of nothing because you're flying blind at that point. You're like, I can't go with the script anymore. I just have to go with the intuition. We're just going to do like some for real soul empowering hypnosis and just see what happens. And so that's a totally different approach. Whereas with QHHT, it's so bad. Like how much they say you have to do it word for word. You have to do it word for word. It's script, the way, the truth, and the light is the script. And it's so bad that the practitioners will blame the clients when the script isn't working. And they'll just say like, oh, you're blocked, or, oh, you didn't do this right, or, oh, you're taking too long, or, oh, and I've had clients come to me and tell me some pretty unpleasant stories about working with QHHT practitioners who made them feel bad for the script not working for them. I'm like, it's not the script. I'm sorry. It isn't the script, and it isn't the client, and it isn't even the practitioner. It is this belief that the script is infallible. That's
Right.
the thing that's the problem. So, and then QHHT, they just keep banging that drum. And I think honestly, I think that they don't know how to evolve. And I think when you don't know how to evolve, you just death grip to the past. And this is all speculation. I don't know. Like I haven't had conversations with anybody on the inside of it. It's just when you see it from the outside, it becomes very, very obvious. And then the last thing I'll say about this is I had an SEH student who, of course, like had taken, a lot of people find SEH later. Like it's usually not the first thing that they find. And so they've taken other styles of hypnosis trainings. And so she had taken, I think, level 2 QHHT already. And you end up becoming friends with some of your classmates, right? And so when she was taking SEH, she asked one of her former QHHT classmates if she wanted to receive an SEH. Oh, no. They were going to do a QHHT swap. And then she said, I'm learning this new style of hypnosis. It's called SEH. It works very well with QHHT. Would you like for me to integrate some SEH into your session if it seems appropriate? And of course, like if the person's not going word for word with the script, SEH becomes very appropriate. And so the client said, yeah, sure. And so this is a QHHT trained practitioner who is the client. She receives some SEH within the QHHT because she knows exactly how QHHT is supposed to go, because you're not supposed to deviate from the script. So she knows what is the SEH part of it. She finishes the session and she goes, that was amazing. Like, can we just do a session that's all SEH next time and not even any of the QHHT? And then my student was like, yeah, we can do a full SEH session. And that's what they did. They did a full SEH session the next time. And then that QHHT practitioner then immediately signed up for the SEH certification training because she was like, this is really good. I need to learn how to do this. This is like so much better than QHHT. And she even went to, because she was then like taking level 3 QHHT, and she even went to the level 3 instructor and said, hey, there's this new style of hypnosis. It's called SEH, and it works really, really well with QHHT. So like when the script isn't working, you can actually just introduce SEH into it and it fixes the sessions. QHHT had an opportunity there. They had an opportunity to go, oh my God, there's something that will fix this. We don't have to develop it. All we have to do is partner with it, right? They had such an opportunity in that moment. And what they chose to do is that level 3 instructor said to that student, when my original student, so student A, when my original student, I got to be really careful how I say this, not to protect anything, but just to get it right. We're going to call her Anne. Her name is not Anne, but we're going to call original student Anne. That level 3 instructor said to second student, when Anne takes level 3, I'm going to have to talk to her about that she integrated a different type of hypnosis into QHHT. You cannot do that. And she cannot earn her level 3 if she's going to do that anymore. So they knew that there was something that would fix all of their problems. And they immediately wanted to punish their student for having the audacity to do that. I don't know what is going on with that organization. I hope they fix whatever is going on with them. They need so much more confidence. And what disturbs me is they have such a high number of students. Like they have an incredible marketing department. They have such a high number of students. And I look at all those numbers, like how many people are signing up for it each month. And I'm like, let's say that's 100 people that sign up that month. That is about to be 100 really disappointed people. It's about to be 100 either abused people or about to become abusers. Because if you make it through all the way to level 3, it's very easy for you to start banging that drum and go, this is the way that it has to be done every single time. And then you become abusive because you start telling your client that they're blocked, they don't know what they're doing, they're having the problem. And some of these QHHT practitioners can get kind of mean about it. And I guess it's just the way humans are. I don't know. I think it's unfortunate. I think it's unnecessary. And they had a solution and they got mad about it instead of getting curious or embracing it. So
fear of change.
Mm-hmm. I'm so excited to see what is
what Canon has to say about it.
I am.
I really hope if there's any I hope there are no slander laws about just shit talking a group. Everything that I said is true as far as I know it, and anything about what their motives might be or what their hangups might be, that's just all me speculating. So I don't know. We're allowed to shit talk people, right? I don't like it, but I think at a certain point, you just have to call a spade a spade. What's going on with them? Why won't they change? Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's fact.
So
it's a fact to me. It's not a fact to them. I think that they probably think that everything that I'm saying is really wrong. Sure. But all the evidence is there. They have to know that there's a problem. They have to know there's a problem. And that's
but sometimes it doesn't matter when the money's flowing, the problem doesn't matter. And that's a major factor there.
Well, that's the other. Oh, go ahead, Liz. I'm sorry.
This is all alleged.
Oh, of course.
It's all alleged.
Allegedly.
There you go. Now you're covered legally.
They're allegedly stuck in a major rut. Yeah. And I ache for them. And then I really ache for the practitioners. I really ache for the clients. And I would say that if anybody's curious about, so I could say all the great things about SEH all day long, right? And I could shit talk any other organization all day long. I have the ability to do that, no problem. I would say the proof is in the pudding. The proof is that they will not allow their newer practitioners to charge for sessions. At SEH, we're very no, whenever you're ready, do it, charge. And I have a lot of level 1 students who are charging just within the first few sessions because they're I'm getting really good at this and this is changing lives and I see the value in my work and I'm fine. I'm comfortable with charging for this. Good for you. They understand that what they're doing is valuable and they understand that they can have confidence in it. And a big part of what slows down a lot of hypnotherapists in terms of charging money is that they're really scared that the session is not going to work. Mm-hmm. And then you've asked somebody to pay a fair amount of money for a session that might not work. But at SEH, it's just no, it's going to work. It's going to work. So, so I would say that's probably the best piece of evidence of the difference between the two programs. And if one works really well consistently, and if another one has some alleged issues going on. Yeah. So, but listen, they can take their alleged issues and laugh all the way to the bank. They are just doing very, very well. And so in terms of marketing, they're just they're crushing it. They're doing a really good job. So, and it's their confidence too. I think that's part of it. Oh, Aaron, you asked a really good question where you asked what would be a challenge for a newer hypnotherapist when it comes to SEH. And I think that's a great question because I have to think about what are the more difficult things about SEH. And a big issue would be some people, and this is not bad. This is not judgment. It takes a lot of different personality types to make the world go round. Some people really, really like being given very firm directions. And so if somebody really does not want to think for themselves, and there are many reasons, there are days I don't want to think for myself. I'm just I don't want to make a decision. All I've been doing is making decisions. I don't want to think right now. So I get it. If somebody doesn't want to think for themselves and they just want to be told what to do, then some of those other programs I just said, kind of scandalous things about, they're great programs. They will absolutely tell you without batting an eye, they are the best. These are the exact words to say. They will work every time. No, they're wrong. They're wrong. But they will still say that with all the confidence in their heart because I think they do believe it to a degree. And so if you don't want to think for yourself and you really just want to be given like 100% directions, I can't say clear directions, but directions, then those other programs are great, right? At SEH, we're like, hey, this is going to work 99% of the time. There's going to be a 1%, and we're going to get you ready and prepared for that 1%, but it's not going to work every time. How could it? Nothing ever works 100% of the time. But that's why we get you prepared for that exciting moment when you're like, oh shit, this isn't working at all. Like, okay, time to see we're about to rock and roll into I don't know what. And I just want to make sure I drive this point home. It's really not judgmental. One of my favorite clients I've ever had, she did not want to think for herself. She wanted to be told exactly what to do. And she was having a shitty SEH session facilitated by yours truly. And I was like, why is she having such a bad session? Because we would go into an area and she would make her way into it and then she would go, I don't know what to do. She's like, I've never been here before. I don't know what to do. I'm thinking like, girl, none of us have ever been there before. Like none of us know what to do. And she kept saying that over and over again. I was like, what is her deal? Like, why is she? Because she's there. And then she just like freezes. And then I realized she is a surgeon who is a black belt in martial arts. This is an extraordinary person. So again, I'm saying this for real. No judgment. She's brilliant. She is a genius. She is a hard worker. She likes directions. If you're a surgeon, you want directions. You need to follow directions. If you are a black belt in a martial arts, you need directions. You like following directions. And so it finally clicked for me where I was like, oh, she wants me to just tell her what to do. She wants me to get like real, like hard driving and specific and say like, now do this, now do that, now do this. And then normally I would never do that. But she needed it. And as soon as I started doing it, she had a great session. So I had to figure out like, oh, okay, she's not like me. Like she wants to be told. So, and some people do, and that's totally fine. And again, flexibility, that's why we can help them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's great.
Shall
we
we do
still gonna have some time to channel?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We have 14 minutes. Okay. Yeah. I already answered the, like, what's going to happen whenever I die. I mean, hopefully it stays chill. Oh, I just want to say real shout out to like the Ericksonian people, Milton Erickson, like that group, I think they're in Phoenix, Liz. That group, if you look at the original transcripts of Milton Erickson's sessions, that man said some wild shit to his clients. And these are from his transcripts in his books. And he would say, and I'm not exaggerating, he would say things like, I'm being dead serious when I say this. He would say things like to this one female client, I am a man and you are a woman and you will do what I say. If I tell you to eat raw garlic, you will eat raw garlic. This was part of his hypnosis session. And this is in like the 50s or 60s or something. And I'm reading this, I'm like, what the fuck? And then and what's wild is that as a PhD student, I kept hearing about this Ericksonian style of hypnosis. I'm like, oh, it's very SEH actually. It's very go with the flow. It's very flexible and it's very permissive, as in you really let the client take the lead because at the Ericksonian Institute, they understand that the client's soul knows best for them. I'm like, this is a lot like SEH actually. How did that go from I'm a man, you're a woman? Oh, here's another quote from it. Even though I am in a wheelchair and you are able-bodied, you will still do everything that I say. I'm like, God damn, Milton, what is your deal? And it was just the way he thought that he could help them best until he eventually realized that actually going with the flow and being more flexible and deferring to their inner wisdom and their soul was actually producing greater results. So he cared about the results. He wasn't trying to bully them. He was trying to get results. And so that's like the opposite of QHHT, where you have this incredible woman who did all of these amazing things. And now it's just like, now we must all be robots and do everything like this way. Milton was different, where he was like, you're going to do everything. It's like, oh shit, like this is not working as well as if I just go with the flow and like, don't treat you like garbage. And so, yeah. And so in my PhD research, like Erickson is the one that they refer to a lot as being like a leader in appropriate styles of hypnosis where you're not leading them, you're not giving them these really leading questions. And so I'm like, okay, that's the opposite. Like that's how it's supposed to go. You're supposed to get better over time. And his students have taken the baton, and they, as far as I know, I'm not trained with them, but they have a very good reputation. They have done a good job of staying really flexible. So, okay, let's channel. And anybody I shit talked, don't sue me. I don't want to deal with it. Allegedly. You're allegedly not doing a great job.
Allegedly.
For entertainment purposes only.
Oh my God, I'm entertained.
I'm definitely entertained.
Okay, great. Well, I hope it was entertaining and educational. Okay, all right. So, who are you guys getting? No induction, just dropped in. Who came in for you guys?
I'll give the first thing that I'm getting. The group of hypnosis pioneers are actually all from the same planet. And okay, that's interesting. Yeah, and they utilize it. That's interesting. They utilize it on their home planet. Oh, a lot of other species use this. It is a form of telepathy. So if you guys have someone specific, I can call someone specific forward, but
I got Dolores out of the gate.
All right.
Yeah, she was like, well, that was really blunt. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I have a headache. Like I've had a headache this entire hour. So like I'm being extra blunt because like I just don't have the bandwidth to like be as diplomatic as I normally would be. But she was like, that's really blunt. I'm like, I know. I have regrets, but it's already happened. So oh God. Okay. I'm just gonna chill with her for a second and see what else she has to say. Aaron, what are you getting?
The only thing I got was a bit of laughter.
From all three, laughter. Or oh, okay. I'm being quiet because Dolores is showing me something. Hold on just a second. Okay, that's different. That's unexpected. So she just like she pulled me over and then showed me like on a table there was this binder or folder and it had a contract in it. And then she said, like, see, look right here. This is where her daughter has written in the contract that she's supposed to be teaching it the way that she's teaching it. And she was like, her daughter has like her own stuff that she's supposed to be learning and experiencing, and the way that she can best learn and experience what she's supposed to in this life, you know, and her soul is for it to be taught the way that she is doing it right now. So she's actually like doing very well in terms of the soul contract. Like she's getting it right. Yeah. And so then I said, well, what do you think about all the stuff that I just said? And she goes, well, it was a lot, but it was necessary. So.
Yeah, they were, they're speaking in like a group form because it's just easier, because I could go with Weiss, I could go with Milton, I could go with Canon, like, they're all here, as well as, probably 5 or 6 other souls, that are pioneers in this area in the earth realm. And they are just saying, like, hypnosis is evolving, and some of those barriers and outdated systems are breaking down. We are, as SEH, as the more that people open up to extraterrestrial, whatever you want to call it, other life forms, they'll be more open to soul work, and this won't seem so out of the box. A couple of them are a little stuck and aren't huge fans of the change, because they believe that the way that they have done hypnosis previously yielded great benefit for the souls and clients at that time.
Is it Newton?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who else?
Weiss is more of like, he seems to be like a mediator.
He's the best. He's so diplomatic. Yeah.
Yeah, he seems to be really mediator. He's like, yes, he's basically trying to mediate both sides, because from as far as the scales for hypnosis go, like, ours is on one side of the scale, very open, very free flow, but it does require practitioners to, like, trust their intuition and learn to channel, and not necessary, but those are the skills. That's why they've come to this, because they want to hone in and work on those skills on a soul level to be able to help as many people as they can. And so there were Milton, and then I don't know the other names. Combs, I don't know who that is. And
Alan? I feel like I'm making that up. I don't know.
maybe, but there's a couple of other big hitters as far as hypnosis goes over the years. The problem is that it's not consistent again across the board. Not everyone can agree on what hypnosis should look like, but that's with any holistic form of healing, whether it be meditation, religion, it doesn't really matter. So they're kind of all not bickering, but going back and forth. If there's a specific question for a specific person or in general, they would be more than happy to answer.
Oh, I'm realizing now why we didn't patch it. Like, I couldn't patch an Instagram, and Instagram is the one that has the 59-minute cap. So we can go longer. We're at 57 minutes right now. It's up to you guys. I'm just going to say really quickly what Dolores was showing me. And then I have a feeling that Erin's going to have great questions that we can ask them. So Dolores, she has me like pulled off to the side. She's on my left. We're holding hands. My favorite part of her screen is the cloud part. It's so chill, and like we're sitting upright, but there's a cloud supporting us, so we're still kind of leaned back a little bit. And she goes, just take a break, just observe. I think she just means about like life, but then also about hypnosis in general. She's like, just take a break, just observe. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing any lives next week. She's like, that's good. She was like, you do a lot, and like you need to take a break and you need to observe. I'm like, okay, what am I observing? I don't know, but I think there's something that I've been, when they say you can't see the forest for the trees.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think there's something where I've been like a little too into the thick of it.
Mm.
And I might just need like a broader, bigger perspective about something.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. She just like patted my head. She was, yep, you're on it. I'm like, okay, thanks. So she's got great grandmother energy.
Yeah. Yes. Agreed.
Yeah. Erin, any questions coming in?
What is the best way for Courtney to go forward with SEH and to grow it and to stabilize it.
Liz, I think you're going to answer. I just felt like a grip on my throat, like like can't talk. Yeah.
It's release. I'm just going to say I'm pretty good at this. I just say what comes in and leave the results up to whatever.
Yeah.
Letting go of the fear of the future. For future clients, for future students, for future humans, perspectives, letting go of all that fear surrounding it will be the biggest catalyst moving SEH forward.
Yeah, I think sometimes I take it all too seriously. Like I think I'm a little too serious sometimes. So
Well, they're all rooting. They're like, it's growing. It's like it's touching the people, the humans, the souls that it needs to touch. It just hasn't. Okay, that makes sense. It's because, all right, we're just gonna go with this. 2025. They're like, if you can hold on a little bit longer, 2025 to 2026 is the year of solidifying, and yes, you can push and rush that time frame, but then you might lose some I guess there's some legal stuff that like has to work itself out first before it can really solidify, and there's a couple more scripts and one lesson that's going to be tweaked.
I think level 3 is going to get a nice overhaul. I think we've got enough depth that we need to build into that.
Yeah, they're saying there's also one in level 2. I don't know what it is. We can talk about that later. I don't know. It's a small tweak in level 2. I'm not 100% sure what that means, but
ask them. There's too much in level 2 for us to guess. I think I know which one it is, but I'm not sure.
It's connecting with spirit guides.
Huh.
Okay, that's somewhere in there is where the entities, attachments, darker souls that we've discussed, that's going to come up in a lot of people's sessions. And if you know what you're looking for as a practitioner, that it makes it a lot, it's just easier. Like you can, yeah.
I know what it is. I've got it, Liz. It's adding a modification to dialogue with a symptom so it can be dialogue with an entity.
There you go. Yep.
Okay, I got it. Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is how we work, Erin.
Yeah, and if anybody's like, how does SEH evolve? It's stuff like this. We're like, okay, thanks, got it. And then we just do the work. Yeah.
I don't know that fully answered your question. I think you might have like do you have a specific question?
So is that an expansion that you're noting that needs to occur with what's there?
It's a move. It's a move around. It's a move around. Yeah, there's a couple of little things that need to be moved. Yeah, I guess it could be
like a minor addition. Yeah.
Yeah, an adjustment. There you go. I couldn't think of the word. Goodness.
You know, when there are games and they have the expansion pack, it's the expansion pack.
Exactly. Still the same, adding like this one. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I think the level 3, like we're gonna do a really interesting level 3 live in April, and I'm really, really excited about what we're gonna do to shift that one. And there's not going to be anything that's taken away. Like I said, Liz and I are really good about doing more with less. So people get more hypnosis education in less time because we're not fucking around. Like we're really not going to waste any time with anything. And so there's more that we can build into level 3. And she and I have been meeting for the last month talking about that. So level 3 is about to get even more robust without losing anything. Like if anybody's taken level 3 already and they're like, like what are they changing? We're not changing anything. We're not losing anything. It's more that we're adding new modules into it, which should be really good.
Yeah.
Cool.
And streamlining. Yeah. Streamlining a couple of little things. Everything's still there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's just streamlining. Because if we find a faster, more efficient way to do a script, and usually that will happen with the client. Sometimes I'm like, oh, and that's why I'm constantly always writing notes, is because they're giving me downloads usually when I'm sitting here in my like magic chair.
Mm-hmm.
Or if we're channeling, they will give me lots of little downloads. So.
Yeah. And so, for example, people want really, really fast change, right? Who doesn't? And so the final module of level 2 is the timeline shift. And people love the TLS. Like they love it because it will inspire such rapid change, but it can be bumpy. And so we recently stumbled into, Lisa, I know you watch these live sometimes, gratitude. Like credit where credit is due. Like this is from Lisa's team, where they were the ones that were talking about like gratitude is such a key ingredient to a lot of positive things. And so it's her team. Like this will happen too. This is another reason that SEH evolves so easily and so well, that Liz and I have no ego involved in this. We don't care where the good advice and information comes from. It does not need to be from our souls. It does not need to be from our team. We just want to make sure that like we do right by the good things that come in. And so it was Lisa's team that they were like, gratitude, such a key ingredient. And then Liz and I started playing around with that. And we were like, oh, like this works just as well as TLS, timeline shifting, but it actually is a lot friendlier. It's less bumpy. Like there's so much more like happiness and joy, and it shifts things very, very quickly. And so this is like a new way to approach things. And so that'll be part of level 3. And we just, stumbled into this. Thank you, Lisa's team. Because I was working with one of the students and it came in, and that was just like, I don't know, a month ago, 2 months ago. So,
yeah. Courtney, can you explain level 1, 2, and 3 of the program?
Level 1.
I meant to ask that earlier.
Sure. And anybody who is wondering about this, you can go to CourtneyStarkey.com. Go to the certification training page. Then it's called an accordion. If you hit the plus sign next to where it says level 1, it'll accordion down. It'll expand down so you can see more information on level 1, level 2, level 3, and so on. Level 1, it's really foundational, right? So you're starting to get very comfortable with the script. And the script is going to introduce you to your guides. It's going to introduce you to channeling your soul. It's going to introduce you to, obviously, your soul. And so it's really creating a foundation so that the students are getting to practice working with that script, connecting with spirit guides, connecting with souls, connecting with the colors, and using all of that energy. And also wisdom centers, right? So connecting with the higher parts of yourself, the wisdom of the body, etc. It bridges very, very organically and easily into level 2, where now that like you're understanding the foundation of all of this and you're connecting in more with the body, then you're going to have like just a pure body wisdom session. Then you're going to have a dialogue with the symptom. This is when you're starting to get more level 2. You're starting to get more into like the nitty gritty, deeper into the details of things. This is when you're going to start to explore past lives. This is when you're going to learn the timeline shift. So that's when you start to get more specific into these more advanced things, right? Like we're going beyond the foundation now. We're getting more advanced with these things. And then in level 3, which is said we're going to be including new scripts. One of my favorite things about level 3 is that it also focuses really nicely on being able to help others. So for example, the prism light healing, that one really helps other people who a lot of them don't even know that the session happened. And it has such a positive ripple effect for loved ones. And so level 3, that's starting to get into even more advanced work that is also very helpful for others. It's also fun because that one's got the purification script, the reverse aging script. And so now we're getting it's not just body wisdom. let's like make the body even younger. Let's make the body even healthier, right? And so getting like deeper into let's shatter some limiting beliefs that we had. Like people think, well, another day has passed, I've gotten older. Maybe. Do you have to though? Do you have to? Like if you look at my picture with Brian Weiss from 10 years ago, I look younger now, 10 years older than I do in that picture with him. I'm like 35 versus 45. I look younger now. I'm in better shape. Like I feel better. I'm happier. So I'm not fully convinced that just because time has passed that you have to get older. And so that's one of the things that we focus on in level 3. Like let's start shattering some limiting beliefs and go in like some pretty cool directions with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's very
Aaron,
well put.
anything else? Okay. Thanks.
No, I think that's it for now.
Okay. Oh, we finally did it. Like Aaron is such a great, and I say this, of course, with a lot of love and respect. He's such a great Medusa of questions. You know, like you chop off one head and then like 3 more. I'm like, Aaron, how's that answer? He's like, I've got more questions. So, okay, and then I'm going to look at the list of questions that you submitted before just to see if there's anything that's really popping that we'll make sure that we address today. Oh, okay. This is a really good question. So sometimes people will ask me, well, Courtney, what do I do if I've already taken another style of hypnosis? Or what do I do if I want to take SEH and I want to take another style of hypnosis?
Mm-hmm.
At SEH, we are never, ever going to say, don't take the other styles. I will always tell you to take the other styles. Of the 14 certification trainings that I took, I am glad that I took them. Yes, partially because it's made SEH better and I know exactly what not to do. I know exactly what to do. So I'm a better teacher. The program is better because I took all the certifications. But I just mean purely as a student.
Mm-hmm.
You will find a nugget in every single training that you take. It is inevitable. You will have something that you will take away and it will become part of your life every single time. Now you might end up paying like $10,000 and spending like a lot of time to get one nugget, and you might go, is that worth it? And I would say if you use it properly, it was worth it. So I would say always, if you're thinking about taking a training, take it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can just keep the things that are good and you can discard the things that are bad. A lot of people will take a certification training because they want the letters at the end of their name. Respect. I got a lot of respect for that. I think you will get more clients. They're not really looking for the letters at the end of your name, but you will get more clients and you'll get a different type of client. You'll get the ones that are more professionally minded, the ones that I say nerd is a term of endearment, they're a little nerdier about this stuff. And so that's good. So you're going to get a different client type who's a bit more serious, more academically rigorous, that personality type. And I like that personality type. So if you want the letters at the end of your name, and a lot of times people do that because they want more confidence. They want to be taken seriously. If that makes you feel better to have the letters at the end of your name, and it did for me, I wanted them. It made me feel better. Do it. Are you going to be bored out of your mind during that training? If you've already taken SEH, yeah, you're going to be bored out of your mind. You're going to hate it, but it'll give you more appreciation for SEH. And I'm not allegedly, except for I have so many students that come back to me and they're like, oh my God, Courtney, like, I can't believe how much better SEH is than these other programs. And I'm like, I know. So it gives you even more gratitude for SEH. And then if you've already taken other styles of hypnosis and you take SEH second, that's totally that's perfect as well, because like I said in the last live, those other styles of hypnosis, they are not going to teach you what to do during those moments where nothing is happening for the client. They're not going to teach you how to handle a session that's falling apart. They might say that they're teaching you how, but it's not going to work in practice most of the time. And then at SEH, you will know how to fix things that are falling apart. You will know how to take things beyond what the other styles of hypnosis have taught you. So I refer to SEH as being like chocolate. It's like the chocolate of hypnosis. And what I mean by that is that chocolate pairs with so many things really beautifully. Strawberries and chocolate, peanut butter and chocolate. They're, just chocolate on its own. Like, so SEH is the chocolate of hypnosis, where on its own, amazing. paired with other things. S'mores. I mean, come on. Can you have a s'more without chocolate? No. And so it's just like blending all these things together, and SEH plays really nicely with these other styles of hypnosis. So, and I would never ever tell anybody like you have to do just pure SEH sessions. I don't care. I want you to do what's best for you and your client. Liz?
I was going to add too, also, not just other hypnosis styles, but other modalities. Prime example, I decided I was going to take a animal Reiki course. And I'm like, how much more can I learn about energy? You know, I know so much about energy. Apparently, I learned more, and I was able to use my SEH foundation and this Reiki. And I was like, wow, they pair very well together. So it's like, and that's just happened last week. It's like, no matter, you know, like imagine how many other modalities, you know, if you're trained in massage, hypnosis can help. If
Yeah.
you're trained in
Physical therapy, even they will.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm,
One of my students is a makeup artist. She
I
will take people through the visualization process. She uses SEH to help her makeup clients. Like
uh-huh.
it really partners with things very well.
Yeah, it does. It
Yeah.
really, really does.
And she
So you're
called
saying
because these
there's
are all brides. Oh, really quickly, just so people are like, what? These are all brides. So this is like the big day of their life. So there's all this energy, all these nerves. They want to look beautiful. They want to feel good. And if you could have an SEH session as you're preparing to get married, oh my God. Like what a beautiful thing that she's able to offer them. It's so perfect. And the person's sitting there with their eyes closed, right? Because they're having all this stuff. She's like talking them through. I'm like, good for you. Like it's genius. Sorry, Erin, go on.
I was just gonna say or ask. So you can tie in SEH with a whole lot of other modalities just in general, and think
Yeah.
it will be things because I know we're going into a time where things that weren't considered to fit together will fit together,
Mhm.
and you're basically reaffirming the fact that there's things that SEH will go with that in the past you would have never considered it to match up.
I probably would have always considered it. I don't know if other
The
people
average
would have.
person, the average person. We're not talking
Yeah.
about you.
Yeah. No, I think that like once I say something like makeup and wedding day, and once I explain it, even the average person would go, "That's really smart. What else can this be used for?" Right?
Mm.
So yeah, there's a lot that it can go with. And then you've watched me and Liz, like Liz and I will drop in during anything. Like we'll drop in eyes open, but like while we're driving, we'll drop in. So like you can partner SEH with anything in terms of your profession, but you can also like do it with your life. If I'm walking down a dark alley and I feel unsafe, you better believe I'm like popping out my dragon wings and my dragon tail, and I'm just like there's a like a sway with the way that I'm walking, where I'm
Mm.
like, if anybody is looking at me and thinking about doing anything, you better feel the dragon energy and think twice. And I
Mhm.
just keep going. So like there are these things that yeah, SEH is really, really nice for just partnering with life as well. Like if a bad thing happens, like bad things still happen, right? And I will be able to immediately go, okay, what's the bigger picture here? Like what's the silver line? What's the lesson? What do we do with this? And I can still be a pouty crybaby about it, but like it's less intense and I move through it much faster. Liz, I think you're really good at that too, where you're just like immediately like get big picture about it and allow yourself the pout if you need the pout.
Oh, I gotta feel the emotion, but like now it processes a lot faster through my body because I know how to like actually feel emotions.
Liz is also like, if you look at Liz and I, like we're looking cuter and healthier and better like all the time. So, and it's really just starting to live more like your soul, and your body appreciates that. It's much lighter.
Yeah. Well, talking to our bodies, like, I mean, it, it sounds like you're like, what? Excuse me? But yeah, like I've healed a lot of, and I don't use the word healed loosely, a lot of things just by appreciating certain parts that I never, by listening to my body, like literally listening to my uterus, listening to my spine, listening to asking questions. And yeah, everything has a voice, it has energy. So like, of course that makes sense that it would be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I think I was
I
joking
never
with
thought of
Aaron.
it.
Yeah, well, Aaron, I can't remember if we were recording or not, but like I had my I blew up my laptop about a year and a half ago, like badly. And the person that I was on the in the meeting with, and I told him what happened. Like I plugged a bunch of stuff in, including my laptop, to try to like I don't even know the technical terms for any of this, but basically I was trying to like piece a bunch of stuff together, and then just like blew my laptop. And he goes, "Girl, that laptop is done." And I was like, "No. I will pray about this and use SEH." And I was like, whatever little magical fairies, gremlins, whatever these things are, nanobots, I don't give a shit who's going to help, like help my laptop because I love this laptop and it's fairly new. And I was just like, I'm just going to kind of like the Dolores advice from earlier, like just step back, do less, just allow. And I just like left the computer alone, probably went out for lunch. I was like, I'm just going to give it some personal space, some personal time, just let it do what it needs to do. And then came back. I think I even waited until the next morning. I was like, if it needs to heal, I'm not going to rush it. Everybody needs a good night's sleep. Maybe my laptop needs a good night's sleep, and turn it on the next morning. It worked perfectly fine. And it's the one I'm using right now too. So like, I fully believe that there's soul energy, or at least the capacity for soul energy in anything. And I treated the laptop with a lot of respect. I was like, I'm really sorry I did that. I won't do that to you again. Let me give you some space. Like, let's call in some healers for you. Like, if you're meant to heal, please heal. Take your time. And it was fine. That's some soul level shit. Me 10 years ago, I was swearing a bunch. Yeah. So, okay, we have about 9 minutes before we hit the hour and a half mark. So we've got a nice like record setting live here today. Aaron, we don't have to do 8 or 9 more minutes, but if you have any other questions, I will go ahead and ask them now.
There's some more here.
You always have more. I know you're like, I'm all done. I'm like, you're not all done. You always have more questions.
What is the basic support that a person can expect in completing the training? And then how does a person, when they're in the process of doing the training, how do they know when to start charging?
Okay. Liz, do you want me to go or do you want to go?
Have at it.
Okay. And then chime in whenever you're ready.
I will with the knowing when to charge.
Ooh, okay. I'll do basic support, and then I'll say like one sentence about knowing when to charge. Basic support. So when you sign up, and I'm just going to keep banging this drum because I think it's so important. SEH is so different from the other styles of hypnosis and the other styles of training. So when you sign up, Liz and I are available. Like we're on WhatsApp. You can message us anytime. We will message you very, very quickly. So there is that more instantaneous. Like because the timing works now, it's not always going to work out this smoothly, but I even helped a practitioner while he was facilitating a session. He quickly WhatsApped me. I just happened to be near my phone, saw the message come in. It was like, this is happening in a session right now. What should I do? I was able to just like live, like message him back, be like, this is what you should do. Right. And he wrote back later. He was like, that worked really, really well. I love my job. Thank you so much. I'm like, no problem. Happy to do it. Right. So there's a high level of support when it comes to those live, like WhatsApp engagements. Additionally, you are guaranteed at least one live meeting one-on-one with Liz or I each month. If you ever need more, of course, you can have it. Sometimes people need less. That's totally fine too. So there is that more intensive, like 1 hour with us. It can be about working on your website or talking about marketing or asking about a session and what they maybe would have done differently. And then also they can receive hypnosis from Liz and I as part of that monthly meeting where we try to reserve like a final like 15 or 20 minutes at the end so that they can receive hypnosis from us, right? Because again, what are we doing here? we're doing some hypnosis. That's the whole point of all of this. So there is an extraordinary level of support. We'll even, like I alluded to this earlier, on Zoom meetings, you can do a screen share. If somebody has been working on a piece of marketing content or working on their website, all they have to do is screen share and they can show us what they've been working on. And we can see what they can't see in terms of this wording should be modified. This is unclear. This wording should be modified. You're really revealing that you are brand new at this. And I can see your shaky confidence in this sentence. Anybody's going to see that, but you don't see it because you're feeling the shakiness, right? And so we're able to help people craft what they put out into the world so that they are better at procuring those clients. So at every turn, we're going to be there and be supportive of like whatever it is that they need. Additionally, they get to join the group hypnosis sessions once a month as part of the SEH membership, which is really, really fun. And Liz mentioned this earlier. The people in the group hypnosis sessions, they ask the best questions. They have really cool things that they share. Like everybody really knows, loves, and trusts and respects each other. And so they share some really interesting insights during these meetings in advance of the group session, but then also as a result of the hypnosis session that they all have just experienced together. It's really validating. It's very cool. A lot of people lament that they are different than others and they haven't found their tribe. There's your tribe right there. Another thing, and I haven't really talked about this yet, and it's such a big deal in terms of level of support. I always talk about what Liz and I can do for them. Yes, that's a big part of it. What I have done a terrible job of communicating, and I need to start making sure I say this more often, the level of support that the students feel from their classmates is unbelievably big and powerful and positive and just so loving. So it's basically like you get these built-in teammates and cheerleaders and advocates where I've had so many students say to me, Courtney, I've done all of these in-person trainings over the years, and nothing is like the friendships, the lifelong, deep friendships that they get with their classmates, because there is nothing like meeting somebody and going, hey, these are like the huge issues of my life. Can you help me? And they're like, yeah. And then you roll reverse, and then your teammate, your classmate goes, these are the huge issues of my life. Can you help? And the person's like, yeah. And then you facilitate sessions for each other, and you're getting to know each other on a soul level. Like the friendships are just out of this world. I have students that are meeting each other literally from other parts of the world. They're going on vacation to meet each other in person. Like it's so beautiful, the sense of community, but then also just like deep friendships where you're rooting for each other. You know that that person has your back and like wants the world for you, and you want the same thing for them. So that level of support is also there, where these classmates just like love each other so much. It's really beautiful.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. That was probably like where you find your weirdos, right? Like
Yeah.
that's yeah. I've noticed that in a lot of, I mean, and you see the sweet like notes that they send each other and voice memos and just rooting each other on, you got this, and giving really good advice to each other and being like, I have no clue what do I do with this client, and they all give really good input, and they're
Yeah.
all different perspectives, so that's really, really cool. And
Because we have a bigger WhatsApp group too, where we can all see what everybody's messaging each other. So it's, yes, it's the one-on-one WhatsApping, but then there's a group as well that Liz is referring to. Thank you, Liz. I forgot to mention that there's a bigger group.
yes. And here's the thing, we're doing our first level one. We have to have, and I did not write this down, which is completely my bad. 25 sessions, right? Level one, then 45 sessions for level, is it 45? And then another 30 for level.
No, the way that it works is that total, when you go from the beginning of the level one all the way through the end of level three, they will have facilitated 100 sessions. And so in between, when they graduate from level one, before they start level two, they facilitate 25 sessions. And it can be what we were saying earlier. Let's say that somebody's a Reiki practitioner. Then it's not just that you have to do a pure SEH session, it's that you integrate SEH into what you are doing. So it could be a pure SEH session, but maybe you're facilitating a Reiki session and you integrate SEH into it. It counts. Like, we just want you to utilize SEH. And if it happens to be that you're blending it with another modality, totally fine with us. And so the reason that we do that, and I know that sounds really intensive, but remember, the sessions are fun. They're fun. So doing 100 of like a really cool, fun thing is not that bad, right? And when you are done with the 100 sessions, you are as confident as you have ever been about anything. You know that you are a rock star, and that permeates everything that you're doing. You facilitate really great sessions. Your marketing is better. Your website is better. Your communication with your clients is better because you are so confident. You become an expert in your field in just a handful of months. Like, it is just like, let's go. And people become experts very, very quickly. And the confidence is there because they have logged the hours that you need to get really good at something. And so again, 100 sounds like a lot. It's not, because you're having a great time. And also the reward is there at the end of it. You feel so good and so confident. Oh, and then, okay, that's a good segue into the other question about the charging, right? I would just say, like, whenever they feel confident, and if they don't feel confident, you know what we can do? We can have a hypnosis session about that.
Yep.
So you will become confident if you want to become confident about charging for your services. And there are people out there who don't want to, not because they fear money or anything like that.
Yep.
It's that they just really want to learn it to help their friends, their family. Some people sign up for the SEH certification training purely because they understand that it's a boot camp for themselves. Like, it's a boot camp for their own personal growth, and it's a boot camp for their soul connection, their intuition, their clairs, their clairaudience, the clairsentience, and so on. So they understand it's a boot camp for themselves. And so they're actually taking SEH purely to put themselves in a situation where they are forced to grow. Like, they are forced to do the thing that they promised themselves that they would have a hypnosis session, but then they didn't, right? So it's like signing up for a gym membership and signing up to have a personal trainer, except for it's for hypnosis, where you're like, no, like, okay, let's go. Like, we're really going to experience a lot of hypnosis. And so I have students that will sign up for a wide variety of reasons, and that is included. So some of them will never, ever start a business, and they don't desire to. Some of them will never charge, and they don't desire to. But for the ones who do want to start a business, and for the ones who do want to charge, SEH is very user friendly, and you get confident really fast. And again, for those who have a tiny bit of a hang up still about money or about their confidence or whatever it is, about being seen, that's a huge one that comes up a lot. It's fine. We just say, like, okay, let us know, what's your issue? Let's have a hypnosis session about it. And then they get over the hump really, really easily. And then they start finding that they're connecting with clients in ways that they never expected. So I have a student who, like, she goes on retreats. She likes going to retreats. And what she started doing, because she had an issue with money, like the flow was not happening for her. But then we had a hypnosis session. She addressed her money issues. Now, whenever she goes on these retreats that she likes to go on personally, she's connecting with all these people. She realizes that it's a networking opportunity where if these people are doing all this spiritual hippy dippy stuff, you think they might want to hit some hypnosis to support whatever hippy dippy thing they're doing. Heck yeah, they want some hypnosis. And this is another thing that's great about that business model. These are people who are willing to pay money for their spiritual advancement. So we've already like pre-qualified them as people who will invest dollars into their advancement. Because some people say that they want to progress spiritually, and they will as long as it's free, and that's totally fine. But free is not paying our mortgage or our rent. Free is not putting food on the table, right? And so she's brilliant to have noticed, like, oh, I'm going to these things where people will spend money on their progress. Why don't I let them know that I'm a hypnotherapist and I can help them further their progress even faster? And so she is making like good money doing that now while living her dream of going on retreats herself. It's genius. And she had a money hang up and fixed it. So yeah, and created a new business model.
It works.
Yeah.
It really
And
does.
then Liz, what were you going to say about like how to know when you're ready to charge?
So the fun part is you'll see in each class, the students will start trying to talk. First, they'll start facilitating with family members, friends, and we stress that, like, make sure it's people that are open and willing and wanting a hypnosis and we're not just badgering them, you know.
Their spouses, it's always the spouse.
The spouse or the kids, and mine, you know, my whole family. It took probably my husband, like he was, yeah, definitely one that he was in that 0.1%, but really it was happening the whole time. It's just really most of the time the client isn't aware of what's happening. And so being a good practitioner, you can figure out what's really going on. Or they're just really blocked and aren't ready for it yet. And that's okay too. But in doing all of these practice sessions, you're like, oh, I really love this. And then they'll refer them to a friend of a friend. And then the friend of a friend will say, well, how much do they charge for their service? And at that point, it's almost like that, you know, they need to put their foot to the fire. And so at that point, then they make the decision. And then usually it goes on like, well, how much do you guys charge? And, you know, and everyone kind of has their own discussion about it. But I found the easiest way to find out about charging, honestly, is to ask during a hypnosis session. How much to charge? What is best? How many clients do I need a week? If that's something that, you know, like get very specific about what you want, or how many people can I help this week? If it, you know, the money thing is just energy and currency, right?
Mhm.
So when we get over that hump of that, which I've done myself as well as clients about that, about the money blocks. And it is a big thing for a lot of people, you know,
Mhm.
and poverty mindset and things like that. And it feels really silly, but then you really start noticing and an awareness in our own thought patterns about how that stuff comes up. So
Yeah.
it affects every area, especially our business. So
One thing that's interesting too, and maybe we should do a live one day about money and spirituality, because I think a lot of people need to hear about this. People are some people are very quick to try to shame spiritual people for charging for their services. Excuse me, we don't shame doctors for charging for their services. We don't shame teachers for getting paid. Like, why on earth would we be shaming hypnotherapists who are helping to heal people and helping to teach people? So teachers and doctors, just because society is used to them getting paid for their very valuable services, excuse us, like we should also be getting paid for our very valuable service. And all you have to do is like 10 seconds of Googling and see how much hypnotherapy helps people with their physical ailments. So, like, if we're okay with paying doctors, why aren't we okay with paying hypnotherapists that can help just as well, if not better, sometimes in certain cases? So, I think that if anybody ever gives you grief for, oh, you must be greedy, oh, you must be bad, oh, you're not really spiritual, um, earmuffs, anybody who doesn't like swearing, they can fuck right off. They can fuck right off because they have their own issues and they have their own low self-esteem and they have their own judgments and they are mean-spirited. And I'm sorry, I don't want my hypnotherapist to be grinding out like a hard, 9 to 5 job, which is really more like 60 hours a week. And then like they're just like dragging themselves to the computer, like working themselves to the bone so that they can offer me like a really inexpensive session so that they can feel more spiritual. No, I would rather that hypnotherapist be able to charge a fair rate where they value what they're doing. They're not working themselves to the bone in some other job to support their ability to do hypnotherapy as a service. Like, I think that that's so silly. I would rather my hypnotherapist be able to do it as a full-time job and really dedicate themselves to the craft, really take good care of themselves, because if they take good care of themselves, they're going to be a better teammate in their hypnosis sessions. And so for me, I think it's so silly that we expect spiritual people to just give away their services. And if they don't, then they're greedy or bad or not really spiritual. Give me a break. That like, I just say, like, anybody who's fearful of that judgment, hold up a mirror and send the judgment right back to them and just say, like, no, like, my service is valuable and you wouldn't begrudge a doctor for, and here's the other thing I have found I'm really getting into it today. I have found that when I increase to a degree, when I offered my least expensive services and then I gave myself a well-deserved raise, it took a couple of years before I gave myself a raise, and then it took a couple more years to give myself a raise again. When I compare the clientele of like my least expensive services to my clientele of let's say my cheapest sessions were like $120 in the beginning, and my sessions that I'm referring to like about 4 years later are about $440. So we're comparing 120 for a session compared to 440. This isn't like astronomical difference, but it is enough that I got better clients. I got more serious clients. I got clients that weren't trying to haggle me for price negotiations. At 120, people would try to negotiate me down. At 440, never happened. They just paid it. They just happily paid it and showed up on time, right? So there is just a different mentality of people who also value what you're doing. The 120 people, they're shopping around for whoever's the cheapest, and they're going to try to make it cheaper, and they show up late, and they don't take it that seriously. They won't follow through with the things that they're being told to do in their sessions. The 440s, they're going to show up on time, they're going to follow through, they're going to take it very seriously. And so it is very interesting. If you value your services, you're going to charge different. And if the client values your services, they're going to behave different. And so I'm not saying don't work with people at 120. I'm not saying that at all. Everybody should do what they feel drawn to do in their heart. But I am saying it is a different personality type, because if they're trying to negotiate with you, that's a red flag, I think. Like, do they really value this or not? So, yeah.
Love it.
I know. I'm really getting into it. My headache did not go away. I took an Excedrin and my headache was like, I don't care. So yeah, I'm feeling grumpy. And then I hate it when people are like, Courtney, you're a hypnotherapist. Why don't you do your hypnosis to make your headache go away? There are some things that I can fix, no problem. I can walk into a germ-infested room. I can lick doorknobs. I'll be fine. I don't know what it is about headaches. Headaches, just like I have never ever figured out how to get rid of them without like some just over-the-counter medicine. And this one is just like, screw your Excedrin. I'm sticking around anyway. So okay, Liz, anything you want to add? Aaron, anything else you want to add or ask?
I think you covered it all there.
Yeah. That was good. That was good. I liked it.
Yeah. Again, if anybody ever gives you grief, guys, about charging money, just give them grief back. Like, they're bullying you. Just bully them back. Or I don't know if I want to say bully back. Don't do that. Stand up for yourself. I know, I'm like, the headache is talking now. No, don't bully them back. But stand up for yourself in a really assertive way. They are bullying you. And just stand up and just say, like, no, like, I really value my services and this is life-changing. And if I went to a doctor, I would be happy to pay that doctor because they have trained a lot and they really are helpful. And I have trained a lot and I really am helpful. And then just, teach them a lesson. We need to do some re-education when it comes to money and spirituality, where I think that people are judgmental without even thinking about what they're judging. Mm-hmm. Why are you judging somebody who put their heart and soul and life into hypnotherapy? Why are you judging them and calling them greedy? Like, they're actually helping people. They paid a lot for their certification training. Like, what? Like, they're supposed to go in debt so you can have a free session for yourself. Who's the greedy one now? Right. You're greedy for expecting them to do this thing for you for free. Like, you're the greedy one. So yeah, I don't know. It just burns me up. And luckily I don't have to deal with that anymore. I think that people just like can see that I'm too serious and I'm too professional, and like nobody's going to challenge me on any of this stuff anymore. Good, because they're not going to like the response. But I'm still defensive on behalf of the students, because the students still concern themselves with this and they worry that they're going to be called these things. Stop worrying about it. Those people are greedy themselves. Those people are bullies. Like, who cares what they think? Yep. Just don't concern yourself with it.
Yep.
So,
agreed.
Yeah. All right, gang.
That was good.
I know. That's such a long one. I know, like, oh my God. And I'm going to take another Excedrin. and keep all my sassy opinions to myself. Okay. Anything else? You guys good?
Good to go.
Yeah, good.
Well, all right, everybody. I guess we did enough live today to like fill the void of the no lives next week. So, Liz, Aaron, thank you. This is really nice.
Yep.
It's so much better than me just like talking by myself. I hate talking by myself. Like I like myself, but man, it's so boring when it's just me. Okay. All right. I'm going to turn off the live. Everybody who's listening, thanks. I hope you're watching this replay on 2x playback speed because this was forever long. And we will see you guys the Monday after Thanksgiving because we're going to take Thanksgiving week off. And then Aaron and I will be back live. And then I might do Wednesday by myself. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll have a guest. And then Liz and I will do Friday. So we'll be doing this again soon. Okay. Ending the stream now. Sorry, Instagram, that the universe and the internet didn't want you